To rivalries, LSU Arkansas, it's always close. The last 5 years, all within 5 points in 0-2. How about Matt Jones here? DeCorey Birmingham. This tied the game at 20 in the fourth quarter. After the excessive celebration penalty, David Carlton from 35 yards for the PAT almost missed it, but didn't. Arkansas wins.
This was awesome.
Darren McFadden,
What a game.
3 years ago. 73-yard run, and then Flynn to Brandon LaFell. Tigers down 2. 2-point Flynn intercepted. Tigers lose in triple overtime. Then, in 2008, Casey Dick, London Crawford, Arkansas wins it 31-30. LSU still, we're not having a big year. And then fourth quarter, Mallett to Joe Adams. In the final couple minutes, Hogs would go to overtime. Tejada misses the field goal. LSU wins it 33-30. Why shouldn't today be another classic? After all, LSU's played 7 games this season decided by a touchdown or less, winning 6 of them. Arkansas's played 4 close games and won 3 of them. Why shouldn't it be a wide-open, high-scoring game? You realize that this season SEC teams have averaged 32 points per game, the conference known over the years for great defense, the highest scoring conference in the country. Talked to Les Miles this week. He was a little bit tight. Why? His team underdogs against Arkansas on the road in Little Rock because of the presence of Ryan Mallett. Even though he doesn't have receiver Greg Childs, the presence of Mallett and the possibility that he can make your defense look really, really bad makes coaches nervous. Mallett's always had the great arm talent. Comes down from Michigan to Arkansas. You know the legend, rips off the receiver's gloves with a big arm. But until this season, he's also had a problem controlling his emotions. Tom Rinaldi has the story of how he's able to overcome that this season.
Determination, disappointment, exhilaration, frustration, intensity, confusion, elation, win, loss.
For quarterback Ryan Mallett, the physical part of the game has come easy.
Mallett fires into the end zone. Touchdown, Arkansas!
The emotional part has been tougher, a point he discovered only after watching tape of himself after last season.
I went back and I watched every game. Frankly, I was embarrassed sometimes.
Mallett to throw, looking to the end zone. Touchdown, Arkansas!
The LSU game, we scored a touchdown last year in the final minute. And, I ran off the field. I was so excited, and an embarrassment.
Emotionally, he had emptied the tank after we scored that touchdown. He wasn't prepared to go back out there and provide the same energy that you would need in overtime.
Arkansas lost that game in overtime, but for Mallett, it was a turning point. In the offseason, McGee had Mallett concentrate on his emotions, using a series of self-help books to build a greater connection between performance, passion, and patience.
Well, he said, you've always got the mental preparation and you're always physically prepared. The only thing you don't control all the time is your emotions. He said, once you get that, there's going to be nobody that can stop you.
I call it being balanced. Playing, functioning, talking to your teammates, everything with the same demeanor, never getting too high, never getting too low. I think he's bought into it.
This season, from staying calm through double overtime against Mississippi State to coming back from a hard loss to Alabama, Mallett has controlled his emotions more. Perhaps the best example came against Auburn. After suffering a first-half concussion, he was desperate to return, but instead transferred his energy into supporting backup Tyler Wilson.
He wanted to be out there. You could see it in his eyes. But, he respected, the authority within the locker room. Shook his head and, turned the reins over to me, gave me a fist bump, patted me on the back, and said, go get him. That was a grown-up moment that I saw from Ryan.
Mallett's emotional equilibrium has shined the most in the toughest games.
Touchdown, Arkansas!
Big loan.
Oh, what a play!
Playing against ranked opponents this season, he's second in the country in passing yards and passing touchdowns.
Touchdown, Arkansas!
It has all to do with his demeanor, the way he approaches the game, and the way that he functions when the game's on the line.
It's because of the composure that he has now versus this time last year.
I think it goes back to my emotions. When I stay just calm and cool, we were able to just go out there and do what we do best. Belief, clarity, poise, victory.
When it comes to poise, Mallett said he looks to Peyton Manning and to Sam Bradford. He beat him bad 2 years ago. They're just going to leave Bradford alone. Last 4 games, Kirk Mallett, 12 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. The offense is so good at creating big pass plays, but LSU's defense has been so good at preventing them. Great matchup.
It is a great matchup, and I think that the feature couldn't be more relevant to this game today than any feature we've had all year, because his poise will be tested in a rivalry game in a big way. And Garrick McGee is an outstanding mentor, and I think the physical tools are there, but how will he handle the pressure of playing in a hyped-up game? He'll be tested again today, because Patrick Peterson, we've been talking about him all year, he jumps routes. He is a risk taker. He's very confident, and the LSU coaches will leave him on an island. Here he is jumping around against Julio Jones. Don't be shocked to see Ryan Mallett and his group of wide receivers look for one-on-one opportunities and go right after Patrick Peterson like this with a double move. If you go against a great corner who has a lot of confidence in his abilities, he jumps routes. A veteran guy like Mallett, who's been around, who's got a lot of talent around him, will try to go after him. So I really think it's a great feature, and this is going to be an opportunity to see Ryan Mallett once again continue to grow and show his maturity. Arkansas, with Mallett leading them, gets the win.
You know, it's interesting you talk about Patrick Peterson. This game possesses 2 excellent return men. Patrick Peterson being one of them. He returns punts and kickoffs. Let me show you what makes him a great returner right here. First of all, he's natural, very natural catching the ball, especially for a DB. He makes great decisive cuts right there. And then he has enough speed to get away from would-be tacklers when he's returning punts and kickoffs. Leave that alone. All right, so right now, watch these cuts in the open field against Auburn. Good cut right there. A nice back cut, like very Sanderish. And then he tries to run away from a guy. He gets him right on the heels. Tough mustard at him. But the guy who I want to see is Joe Adams. Now, first rule, you don't catch the ball inside the 10-yard line. But when you possess skills like Joe Adams, you can do things like that. He's an open field runner, long strider, doesn't cut like Patrick Peterson, but he's very fast, very exciting coach. I think it's going to come down to field position in this game.
Who are you picking there?
LSU.
Listen, he always tries to get you when you're ready to commit.
I know, he wants host, but that's okay.
Arkansas has won 8 games in a row in Little Rock. They won 5 straight this year. They're doing it with offense. They score 44 points a game. They're especially good in the red zone. We're 3rd in the nation. Arkansas by a field goal beats LSU.
All right. That's about what the experts think. We've spent a lot of time this year bashing LSU's offense. You got to give them credit, though. In the last 6 quarters, from halftime the Alabama game, then against Ole Miss, which I know is a bad defense, all of a sudden Jordan Jefferson playing well. Yep. Gary Croton really trusting his quarterbacks. They're throwing on first down. They're catching teams off balance. And LSU has discovered its offense just in the nick of time with a BCS bid probably on the line. It'd be hard to imagine if Auburn's in the BCS championship game, the Sugar Bowl passing on an 11-1 LSU if they can get out of Little Rock, which is why Les is.
You know, one of the BCS rules is if you get into the top 4, you finish in the top 4 in the BCS standings, and you're not a champion, you automatically go in as a BCS at large. So with the loss by Boise State, LSU was at 5. They'll move to 4 at the very least. So there's a lot at stake there.
What about the Hogs, though? They'd be a very attractive BCS at large team just because of the way they travel.
7 straight in Little Rock. That's the secret.
Little Rock.
I love this game.